project yet, or if you haven't interacted with your work on an iPad, today is a great day to start. I'm saying this because although I do believe applications are an interesting opportunity, I'm not advocating them as a panacea. It may not make sense for your organization to go this route. And in the meantime, and maybe forever, browsers will remain the lowest common denominator. A great article that sort of clarified my thinking around this is an article by Ben Ward called Understand the Web. And Ben succinctly describes the difference between the web and application frameworks. So just to let you guys know, if you've been designing for the web, designing applications is nothing like designing for the web. Again, each platform, Android, BlackBerry, iPad, Palm, Symbian, are all completely different animals. Different UI paradigms, different interaction models, different hardware, different user expectations. And I think that platforms will increasingly have less in common with each other. Now, I know it would be easier if we could just all use cross-platform compilers and even build apps in HTML, CSS, and publish them via the browser, but I don't think that the way forward is going to be that easy. Moreover, not fully understanding the platforms could lead you toward designing under a false set of constraints. And what I mean by this is that the newspaper, the website, the book, are all products born from real constraints of the technology used to create them. The size of the press pad, the grain of the paper, printing speeds. As designers, we have a responsibility to understand the constraints of the native platforms, to know when and how hard to push against them. So you're probably asking, if this isn't print, and it's not magazines, and it's not the web, what is it like? So there's two needs-based mental models I've been thinking about as a means to frame the problem. And the first one is theme parks. So first, imagine that each platform, iPad, iPhone, Android, is a different theme park, and that your application is a ride in that park. What this means is that before people even open your application, the platform has established strong user expectations for how your app looks, behaves, and performs. In short, people expect that your application look and feel like it belongs in a park. If you're designing an iPad app, consider both of these required readings. This is your How to Make a Ride That Feels Like It Belongs in the Park manual. And if you haven't read both of these documents, please do. At minimum, it will give you and the engineers you're working with a shared language to talk about your application. It's a great entry point and can also be a place of departure. Understanding the human interface guidelines will help you evaluate the native built-in interface against your specific problem. Before you could go and design this badass new app, please read these and consider the simplest solutions first. Now, you can and you should break the rules, but make certain that the payoff will be worth the pain and that your efforts to differentiate yourself are well placed. I can tell you from experience that writing custom layouts will bring you pain. It will also make you less able to respond to changes on the platform. Know that the platform will evolve, and it will make many of the things that might be difficult right now easier in the future. So here's something I discovered recently while doing an audit for iPad applications. There's an inverse relationship between reported user satisfaction and feature count. And I don't know what causes this relationship any more than you might, but I have a few theories. And the more features you include at launch, the less able you are to focus on getting any one of those really, really good. So features set certain expectations in the mind of users that you better be willing and able to meet. And I think what the bigger truth is that killer apps do 1, 2, or 3 things really, really well. So success means something different for applications, which brings me to the second mental model. If the web is a network, a power grid of data, then an app is more like an appliance. It plugs into the network to extract specific data for a specific purpose. And designing something with the focus of a toaster means every design decision has the potential to have massive impact. This is one of the first wireframes for our iPad application. The decision to abandon the 75-pixel thumbnail seen here in favor of using larger images introduced a new variable we had to plan for: inconsistent image sizes. The engineer, myself, and the visual designer had to sit together to create logic for flexible frames based on the presence or absence of images, and we had to anticipate and plan for aspect ratio outliers. The decision to take out summaries and bring in article text at the section level introduces another problem. How, after navigating to the article, can we see where the text picks up? Something that can take a few days to design, like full-screen slideshows or a video section, can often take weeks, if not months, to execute. So, seemingly simple design choices can require major changes to publishing software, a different production workflow, or revisions to the feed structure. And I do believe that one of our responsibilities as designers is to understand what the possible impact of our ideas might be before presenting them. We have to make certain that we believe in these ideas and that we're willing to get our hands dirty. So, John Gruber has written 2 articles that I refer to often in the course of my work. In a post titled Complex, Gruber uses Gall's law as a jumping-off point to describe how successful systems are made. And if you're not familiar with Gall's law, it states a complex system that works is invariably found to have evolved from a simple system that worked. The inverse proposition also appears to be true. A complex system designed from scratch never works and cannot be made to work. You have to start over, beginning with a working, simple system. So, if you want to evolve and improve something over time, you have to start it with something simple. If you have influence in your organizations, use it to help people understand that successful applications will not start out looking like this.